gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Lord Nod. We are at E3 Day 0. But when I say Day 0, we have to go ahead and talk about the DayZ, right? This is Bohemia Interactive, and we are with the man who's going to tell us about DayZ. What is DayZ, and tell us who you are.
Sure, I'm Dean Hall, otherwise known as Rocket, and I work at Bohemia Interactive. I was the creator of DayZ, and now I'm the project lead on the standalone project.
So we are now standing in front of DayZ royalty. All you out there, go ahead and bow. This is phenomenal.
Maybe after you've seen the standalone.
No, so we personally believe people who can go ahead and create community mods like how you created is absolutely phenomenal, right? Yep. So this is so much fun. We are standing in front of royalty. So all of you didn't do that, I bow. This is good. So tell us about DayZ. Now, like, there are some people out there who don't know about this. What's DayZ?
So it's sort of an opportunity to answer the question, what would I do in the zombie apocalypse? It's a question that comes up a lot at parties and things like that. So that's really what DayZ is about. It's the idea is to push you into this world. There was a zombie infestation and you have to survive. Basic stuff like eating and drinking, finding weapons, finding equipment, and it's quite hard. It's based on a simulation engine, so it's quite unforgiving. And it's you get a permanent character, and essentially in an MMO, and it's permadeath. So once you lose your character, that's it. You have to start again.
Yeah, well, and that kind of goes and tells you a lot of things. I know some of the questions have come up. You should go ahead and read some of the forums. It is unforgiving. You have to eat, you have to drink, you will die otherwise. There are some mods which are out there which will allow you to go ahead and take not so punishing a route, but that's how he intended it to be. Now tell us why design it on a real life simulation mode from Bohemia, and why not make it on Call of Duty? I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, well, I guess the Armor engine provided a really good platform for modding, which is a big thing. So it's unfortunate that some other games, say like Battlefield, don't support modding anymore. You know, they used to. And so that's a good reason, I guess, for the start. And the other thing is, there's a lot of sort of esoteric little things in the world that you don't sort of notice. For example, if you can read the stars in real life and navigate by them, the stars in game are based on their real position. So you can actually use like the North Star or the Southern Cross or whatever to find out which direction you're going. So that that adds a big element to the game.
Goosebumps, my friends, goosebumps. This is what we're talking about. This is how authentic and real the entire game is. Now tell me about one thing. So there are obviously zombies here, right? Yep. But everyone who I talk to tells me it's not the zombies you have to be worried about, it's the other players. Yeah. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, definitely, and that's still the case in standalone. So I guess one of the big aspects of DayZ is your interactions with other players, and they can be positive and negative. So people talk about heroes and bandits, what style of gameplay you are, and one of the tenets of the design is that we don't make a judgment over the play style of the player. So it means that you can come across someone who's very cruel. They might steal your stuff, they might break your legs, they might kill you, and so players really are a significant challenge, because obviously they can find very good weaponry, sometimes sniper rifles and that, sit down in a town and just shoot everybody who comes in the area.
Yeah, and that's, I think, more a testimony on both the good and the bad that can be inside you to go ahead and say what is reality, and that's how high the level of interactivity. So tell us more about DayZ. Now DayZ's been there, the original mod's been there for some time right now. How do you go ahead and look at the new Arma 3 engine, and how are you going to be interacting with that one?
Yeah, so what we did was we took kind of the baseline engine where it was at with the game Take On Helicopters when we started development, and we were originally going to make kind of a revamped mod. But it became so popular, and we realized that to solve the problems the mod had required effectively a new engine. So we took the old engine and we turned it from a first-person shooter into an MMO. Because one of the big issues with DayZ was hacking and security. So we wanted to deal with that. And we also wanted to add like a new inventory system, which I can show you in that, the new spawn mechanics, and just really refine the experience back to what we really wanted to do originally.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds phenomenal. We're going to just check some gameplay. A couple of last questions in here. What about what about the pricing? Are you going to be pricing DayZ? What have you decided that? What about microtransactions? What's the business model going to be?
The business model is very much the Minecraft model. So we'll release the alpha cheaper than retail, a lot cheaper than retail, cheaper than people paid for Arma 2, for example. And then once, as the game progresses and develops, it will get more expensive. So once it hits beta, it'll get more expensive, and once it gets its final retail, it will be more expensive again. So the people who come on early and put up with all the bugs and the problems, which you'll see plenty of soon, they will get it very cheap. And there'll be no microtransactions, none of that kind of stuff. It doesn't fit with the game model, yeah.
Okay, and last probably question is timelines, when do you think it's going to be out?
Yeah, we're not picking a date because we're just really worried about disappointing people, but we're very, very, very close. Like, we're talking more like weeks or months rather than like something longer than that. So.
Great, so all of you DayZ fans, this is going to be really big. If you've not bought the alpha, the link's down below. You can go ahead and get it. It's available on Steam, and it's available on a couple of other platforms. What about, are you only looking at Steam as a publishing platform, or are you looking at other ones too?
Yeah, well, that was the reason for that is we use a lot of Steam's technology, and we couldn't have done we couldn't be looking at being ready to do the release. I nearly said when it was. When it might be. Without their technology, because we use them for authentication. So one of the important parts of DayZ is having a unique ID so that your character can be stored in a database. When we had an authentication server for the mod, it was obviously under a massive load. So we're using Steam for authentication, for pushing updates. We can do Delta patching, all that kind of stuff, and we get that, free from Steam. So it's really helped us a lot, and it's allowed us to get things pushed out. I realize that not everybody's a Steam user, but it's just there was really no other way for us to go and still hit the targets that we wanted.
Excellent. So the game is down below. The link is down for Steam. You're going to check out everything right now. He's going to show us what the game is, and then we have a very small surprise at the end of the show.
Cool. So we have worked on improving the graphics, but it hasn't been one of our key aims. So one thing we have is the quick bar down here. So if I want to access my weapon, I can push 1 and shoot the zombies. Now I can actually customize that, so I can choose, maybe I want the 6 key for that, and that sort of thing. So DayZ is a lot about scavenging. That's really one of the main things of it. So we've added interiors to all the buildings, and you go around and you have to pick up the items. You can either pick them up by looking at them, or you can actually, if something's nearby and you can see it, you can put it in there. And it's a survival game, so you have to drink and eat and that kind of stuff.
It looks like they're actually making the game for
and the clothing system, we've got that in there now, so your clothing's actually quite important. If you find, like, I can go in here and find this hoodie here, which is probably going to be warmer than if I was wearing a t-shirt, and I can transfer my items across. Another thing we've been working on is the crafting system. We've built the architecture, but we haven't put a lot of the content, so there's not a lot of stuff you're actually able to do it in yet. But so these are 2 map fragments. So if I look, they're on my quick bar here. So this is just a quarter of the map, and I'm actually over here off the map. And if I then go in and take the 2 map fragments, I can actually put the maps together just by dragging them on top of each other, get rid of the old ones I don't have, and then I can actually come in and the 2 map fragments have actually been combined. So it's still quite a rudimentary system, but it gives an example of some of the stuff that can be done. Another thing, I've got purification tablets here and some pond water I've filled up from a pond. So I'm going to purify that so that I don't get sick from it. You can see down here it's been purified, and when I drink it now, it's much safer for me than if I didn't have it. We're also putting a lot of sort of, I guess, esoteric type items and different weird little things. So you can find full-length books in the game. So there's the Bible there, the Country of the Blind. So I can actually read through that. It's in my thing here. Oh, this one's blank. But you can read full-length books in the game, which players might be able to do different things with, and yeah. So it's It's been, we've really expanded things quite a lot, working on improving the player animations, and yeah, making the whole world just really feel lively, and also working with the zombie animations as well.
Excellent. So the last surprise I was about to go ahead and say is, do you play the game, and can actually people find you in the game once in a while?
Yeah, they can. So I go by the player name Rocket, but people can set their own username, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of Rocket impersonators, but I definitely do. I haven't been playing the mod very much at all recently, but yeah, when the alpha releases very soon, people will definitely see me in there.
Excellent.
Because of my Steam account. I have a lot of people add me on Steam. Yeah.
Excellent. And thank you so much for the time. What's the future for Rocket and Bohemia and DayZ?
I just came back from climbing Mount Everest, and I had an idea for a mountaineering game that I've wanted to do for a while, so that might be next on the cards. But there's going to be a year of development in this yet still. So.
You can imagine. And guys, he just said Mount Everest, and you know where that is, right? This is a guy who's come over to India and gone and enjoyed our country. It's been a pleasure. We look forward to going and play DayZ.
Awesome.